We are chronicling the most successful and influential women across the nation. Women in business, technology, sports, entertainment, philanthropy, and so much more. It's important that we chronicle not only their successes, but how they achieve them. And why is it even important? It's simple. The girl today is going to become the mother, the teacher, and the leader of tomorrow. And it's important to ensure that they're prepared. So, the Women Leaders Project. I'm so grateful that you have joined us, and we are here in the absolutely beautiful She Wing Slash studio in Midtown Manhattan. So, now, success. Success to many people seems elusive. And the fact of the matter is it's not, right? It's really not as hard as we like to make it seem. So what we did is we wanted to come up with something to make it easy for you. So how you achieve success is you date. Every successful woman or man that I've ever met in life, they have achieved success by dating. And no, I don't mean each other. What they did is they made a decision that what they wanted is what they would have, simply because they were willing to work there to get it. Then they acquired the knowledge it took to get there, and then actually took action with that knowledge. Then T, tackled every obstacle, and trust me, there will be obstacles, lots of them. And then E, every day do something. So what I basically want to find out from you is D. We'll start with D. How did you decide what it is that you wanted to do?
The decision for me to figure out what it is that I wanted to do came from my own frustration. I always say there's a fortune in your frustration. And so for me, I had to be pushed out of the things that I didn't like to do based on living somebody else's life. What I mean by that is, as a mother, that's a role. My resume, that was a role. So I really didn't know who Lucinda was. And so the decision came from me really just Xing out and removing all of the titles and the labels that everybody else has given me, and embraced and really took some time to do some soul searching on who is she, what does she like to do, what doesn't she like to do, and what do I need to do to move forward.
And that's so powerful, because I say the most important thing in the world that no one likes to do is to get to know themselves.
Yes.
And it's not until some hardship or some difficulty forces you out of where you are that you're like, okay, maybe I might need to know who I am. And it's so unfortunate, because you'll find out that who you are is the most beautiful representation that you have ever seen. But you won't find that out until you get to know who you are. So now what it took, because now tell me, I know of course what you do and who you are and everything else, but explain to me exactly what it is that you do. How do you help women?
So my brand, the name is Activate, and that's what we do. That's what I do, is help to activate and encourage women, and even young women, to really pull out what it is that they want to do, pull out who they are, pull out the truth, whether they want to write books. But you won't know that until you just activate the vision, or even just get into action, as you said in the date. And so that's what I do, help to empower women to step into who they are, into their calling.
Yes, that for me is amazing. So now, how did you acquire the knowledge it took to get to where you are now? Because you just had an absolutely amazing conference that I'm definitely going to be at next year. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm definitely going to be there next year. How did you acquire the knowledge it took to even create something as amazing as you did with an international conference in Times Square?
Yes.
How did you acquire the knowledge it took to get there, to that point?
So one, we all know success leaves clues. And so I have my mentors, I have my advisors, but I have my team of women that we're not competing with one another. We want to see each other succeed, because your success means my success. And so if I help you speak your truth and stand in your power, you have just enough power to help me speak my truth and stand in mine. And so there's no way I would have been able to pull it off without my ambassadors, without women who are volunteering their time, their attention, their resources, because they're not afraid to see me excel, because that's what they want for themselves. And so that's how we were able to pull it off, by listening, taking advice, asking for help. Even as a young adult, I didn't ask for help, but asking for help. Those 4-letter words can really change the course of your life.
That is very true. And you know what? Most people don't want to ask for help, because to ask for help means to say, I don't know it all, I do do need some guidance. I do need some assistance. So can you come and save me? That's a tough thing, especially even for a teenager. That I know for me, there was no asking for help. I got it. I know it all. Need you for what? I'm okay. But asking that is something that is pivotal, to be able to ask for help. So then, okay, so after you acquired knowledge by using your resources and your team, what actions did you guys take? Just with everything, with your brand, your business, everything.
Planning, we had to do a lot. It involves a lot of planning. There's the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So for me, I had to, and planning is something that was hard for me. I'm such a go-getter. I'm so energetic. It's like, I have an idea, let's do it today. Why not?
Let's drive.
Right. Why can't we have our film on Broadway right now? So I have to pump my brakes at times, and it came from failures, which are part of the success road. But just, I had to plan, that was one, and then to implement. So not just plan and just sit there and try to fall into perfectionism. I really had to start to implement and say, I'm going to make mistakes. Let me be comfortable with those mistakes. I'm not perfect. And having a big vision, and not being afraid of it. What we did in Times Square was very scary for me. Financially, it was a stretch. Reaching out for more help was even a stretch, because it's like, Lucinda's supposed to be at this caliber. She doesn't have a handle on things. Absolutely not.
I'm human. It's okay.
I'm human. I need help, and that's a sign of strength.
Yeah.
And so for me, the success of that conference and the whole process with the brand and the business is all about planning and taking the time to assess the whole situation and being comfortable with the failures and the mistakes and embracing them and saying, I'm not going to let this distract me from moving forward.
Now, you just said something that I feel is so powerful. You said failure is a part of the success. It's so funny, because I always tell youth, and even adults when I speak to them, that failure is merely greatness in its infancy. You have to understand that just as an infant, when that baby is first born, they are blank slates. They have to learn to roll over, pull up, hold their head up, crawl, walk, and then run. There's a process. There are levels to it. It's levels to it.
Yes.
You have to get there. And they don't know how to hold their head up their first try. I promise they bob and weave their first couple times.
That head is heavy.
Exactly. But eventually, with practice, their failures turn into their successes.
Yes.
So I loved what you just said when you said failure is a part of the success. You don't get the cake without the egg and the oil and the water. You don't get the product without what goes into it. And failure being a part of that success, it's just a necessary component. Get ready.
And it's messy at first. The
it
cake
is.
is messy. The yolk, the
Extremely.
flour.
You could put the shells in the egg and in the cake batter, and you may feel as though my cake is ruined, but it's not. You look and see, okay, well, I have a shell in here. Let me pick it out and keep going.
And you put it at the right temperature.
Exactly.
And you wait. And that's the best cake.
Exactly. But only if it's cooked all the way, because I always tell people the right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing. You can be absolutely perfect, but if the timing is off, if it's too soon, you can't cut the cake because it's mush on the inside. If it's too late, it's burnt and it does not taste good. It's no longer moist. No one wants to eat it.
That's right.
Timing is everything. So I'm loving this conversation.
I'm
excited.
excited.
We can sit here and talk all day. But now, to get back to dating, tackling every obstacle. A lot of times, many people give up in their struggle because they don't understand, just like the rising of the tides, life is an up and down roller coaster. It's no fun if you only stay down, but it's also no fun if you don't learn anything if you're always up. So how do you make it through those obstacles? How do you get over those tough times? So tackling every obstacle, that's literally what it is. Put on your football helmet, put on your pads, get ready, because you're going to have to tackle these obstacles. So how did you do that?
For me, and the obstacles are going to keep coming. The greater the vision, the greater the responsibility, and the greater the obstacles.
Oh yeah.
People are not going to like you. People are not going to understand you. And so I had to realize that I have an obligation to my own vision and my dream. You're not obligated to push my dream. No one else is obligated to even believe in my dream. And so with that at hand, when the obstacles do present themselves, I have to be willing to do whatever it takes against all odds. With the little bit of money, what can I do with it? Using what's in my hands, with the resources or without the resources. And so when the obstacles come, that's where my faith is tested. That's where I say, do I have graduated faith? Did I graduate, or am I still immature in my faith and still, please let this happen? And so for me, it's just, that's when you lean on faith and say, I've done what I can. And I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping because of what somebody else said. I'm not stopping because of the lack of what I see. Because a lot of times we go by based on what we see. And if we go by based on what we see, then we are not looking at the vision. Right? And so we have to, those obstacles came. And I cried, but I got back up in the morning. I was stressed out, but I got back up. And I kept sowing positive seeds into my speaking life, sowing positive seeds into my vision, being the first believer and investor in myself.
Oh, now that's okay. So now this investments. Now investing into your future. Now, what does that mean entirely?
That means that you're not so focused on the outer, because a lot of times we'll invest, and this is where, going back to the beginning with the D, I had to realize who Lucinda was. And so investing not on what's the outer. The outer is nice, but I don't want to be a dressed up mess with no vision.
Wait, hold on. We have to repeat that. That's one more time. We don't want to be what?
A dressed up mess.
A dressed up mess. That was good. Dressed up mess. And you know what? Especially nowadays and don't get me wrong, I'm a marketing person, so I like social media. I need social media. It helps me. But because social media now is so prevalent, you have everybody who they want to look the best and look as though they're living this lavish, amazing lifestyle, and on the inside you are broken, bruised, and damaged. So you are a dressed up mess.
It's deceptive. It can be very deceptive on social media, and that's when you have to, going back to the investments, if you begin to educate yourself and perfecting your craft, the outside and the inside will come together in alignment. That's what you want. You don't want the outside to be one image of a representative, and then inside you have no clue who you are. So work on the internal education. Go to these conferences, go to the workshops, these seminars, invest in yourself. That's your intellectual capital. That's going to feed you later on.
I always say it. People can take your house, they can take a car, but they can never repossess knowledge once you have it. That cannot be taken away. And that is the best tool. Confidence, yes, is an amazing tool, but the best tool that you have is the object that sits on both of your shoulders, which is your mind. Because if you think about it, everything that was ever created, from the shoes on our feet to the skirts to the cars outside, was created by a person, a human being who had a thought. And if you as a human being can have a thought, that means you are able to create whatever you want. As a human, you are a creator. You can say all day long, and I used to say, I'm not creative. I was lying. And anyone who says it is lying.
That's right.
You're a creator, because this book was created by someone who had a thought. So this is real good. This is real good. So then now, okay, so we dated a little bit. We DAT'd. We've made a decision that what we want is what we'll have, and we'll be willing to get there. We've acquired the knowledge it takes, and like you said, going to conferences, reading books, getting that knowledge it takes to get there, and then you said implementing.
Yes.
You have to implement, because it's not enough to know if you don't do something with that knowledge. And then now, T, tackle every obstacle. There will be obstacles.
Yes.
And then now E is every day do something. What do you do every day to help get you closer to what you want to do?
I have a routine. And you have to set a routine. I mean, I have a 4-year-old, and so I do the same things they do in school. I have my colors. I have my schedule. Lucinda needs nap time. She needs snack, right? She needs time to read, and she needs time to write. And so literally, I think that we make things difficult. The things of God are very simple. We complicate them. Just like you said, the thoughts and made our hands create. And so for me, it's a routine. I get up in the morning. I make sure I say my prayers. I make sure that I'm eating something semi-healthy. Sometimes I want to just go down and dirty with some grease.
Get a donut.
Right. But overall, I know that I need to feed my mind, I need to feed my body and my spirit with something to continue on throughout my day. It's very busy, so I have a routine, and I make sure I get my proper rest. I make sure I drink my water, but it all starts off with prayer, writing, looking at what I need to do for the day, what's a priority, and not just busy work.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Taking care of the things that are income producing and cost a certain level of productivity, even in my own household. So it's a routine. It's a kindergarten routine for a grown-up.
Okay, so now you establish Activate Your Life Today, and there is an amazing book called The Art of Activation. Let me see this beautiful book here. So now, what is the Art of Activation? What is it?
The Art of Activation is taking action. When you look at the word activate, you cannot use your credit card unless you activate it. You cannot, go into your hotel room without activating that card. And so this is to activate your life. And we talk about 24 laws to win, to thrive, to prosper, to rise. And it's a guide. It's a guide that talks about real stories, real strategies. It's funny, it's serious, but it also provides you the action steps, because a lot of people are looking for the how-to.
Yeah.
You told me what happened in your life, but tell me how. And so these women go through their stories. It's 24 women. They go through their stories, but they tell you how you can move forward after a setback, how you can move forward after bankruptcy, after divorce, after domestic violence, after cancer. So they talk about the things and the steps that you can take to continue to uplift and empower yourself.
Very real issues, especially life after sickness.
Yes.
Life after divorce.
Yes.
Life after even children sometimes, because that could be something that is traumatic, especially if, let's say, you weren't prepared or you're afraid or just anything.
Yes.
Life after being fired. Let's say you weren't ready for that.
Right, we had that.
Yes, because that's a very real issue that people experience. So life after. Okay, so then the Art of Activation is where
That
can
may
I
be the
get
next book.
Life after?
The next
See,
book. You got
I
that.
need to be a contributor. I need to be a contributor. Y'all heard it, right?
Life after.
Life after. So where can I get the Art of Activation?
We have a website, theartofactivation.com. They can go to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, wherever books are sold. They can get a copy, and we have hardcover. We're getting ready to have the audio book and the paperback.
Awesome.
So podcast. We're doing a documentary, so it's a lot.
So now you've accomplished quite a bit here. You are not only the head honcho of Activate Your Life Today, and you had a wildly successful international conference in Times Square, which hats off, high five to you, hats off to you. I know how difficult a conference can be to coordinate, so hats off to you. You are a contributing writer to I don't know how many publications. And you have children, you have a husband, you have a life, you don't sleep clearly. So to get all of this, I'm pretty sure you had to have mentors to get you here. Who were some of the people, even if it's one person, helped you to get to where you are?
Oh my gosh, I would have to say my mother, because in a way that she opposed everything. And God rest her soul, she passed last year on Mother's Day weekend, and that was a push. And so I said, here you go, even as you're gone. And that was my first conference last year. I said, you're gone and you're still pushing me to move forward. But she opposed everything. It was, I hear you talking, prove it. You're an entrepreneur or entrepreneur. Let me see. Because you're still asking me for gas. And you're still asking me to watch your kids. You're not giving us money for Chuck E. Cheese. So she was the opposer that pushed me forward. And she pushed me to find other mentors. And even before she passed, she told my mentor, Andrew Morrison, my first mentor, she told him, take care of her, make sure she stays on does what she needs to do. We had no idea she was going to pass. She wasn't ill, but those were the last words that he heard from her when they ran across each other. And so she's the main.
Trust me, I understand. I had one of those very, very tough. She says left, I had to go right, just because it's what seemed like the best thing to do at the time.
Yes.
So I know about that. Very, very strong-willed, but I must agree, like you, without my mother, I don't know who or where or what I would be. So thank you, mommies, all of you out there. We love you. You're awesome to us.
Yes.
So now, If you could, speaking of mommies, if you could talk to your younger self, what would you say to you?
I would tell myself to just be easy. I think at a younger age, you take things so serious. You take your friends so serious. You take men so serious. You know, boys at the time. You know, you take everything is so serious, and you feel as if the world is not is against you. But I would just say, take it easy and just really enjoy the moment of life, of youth, and embrace that. Even if you have even if you have so many challenges and you have adult responsibilities, just be easy, because I think that will decrease teenage pregnancy. I think that'll decrease STDs, dropouts, if they learn to just be easy and embrace life as it is.
Embrace it in this moment.
In the now, right now.
Because you won't get it back.
We'll get it
10
back.
minutes ago, we'll never see it again.
Things happen. Things really happen. So
Cool. Okay, so then the last thing that I want to ask is, if you could describe yourself in just 6 words only. I know that is extremely hard, especially for wordsmiths. But we're going to 6 words. If you could describe yourself in 6 words, what would you say about yourself?
I would say faithful, determined, ambitious, free, and activated.
Activated. I love it.
Oh, that's 5.
Oh,
And the
wait,
last
one
one
more.
is lovely. I think
Lovely.
I've
And
embraced that.
you are just as lovely as you want to be.
You too.
Thank you. I'm goofy. I can't help it. I've been
Me
goofy
too.
my whole life.
I'm trying to hold myself, because we are just having a good conversation.
We really are. I want to thank you so much, and I must thank again for this beautiful, amazing studio, She Winks Lash Studio here in Midtown Manhattan. I must thank you again so much for joining us, and so much for She Winks Lash Studio for allowing us to come into their studio to have this amazing interview with you. I'm so grateful that you have joined us, and that you are going to help us prepare the young women of tomorrow. And as a reminder, remember, no matter what has been, you create what will be. Every single day, remind yourself, I am possible, simply because you are.